Welcome back to our channel. This is my brother Mark. My name is Barry. We're Two Brothers Opinion.
Yeah. So today we wanted to go over and kind of look at things like misinformation versus disinformation. And from what we've read, we look at people's definitions and things like that. But our definition is with misinformation, it's information that people could get wrong. It's just like, hey, I thought this, and that's what I had heard, and maybe it's a little wrong or a little inaccurate.
It turns out to be inaccurate.
Yeah, disinformation, we believe, is more like, okay, we're trying to create a narrative, so we're actually going to give you false information on purpose because we're trying to create a narrative because we want you to believe something.
Regardless of what the situation is.
Yeah, regardless. But people talk about, you hear it on the news all the time, those words, misinformation, disinformation. And if you can tune that out and just look at the information, and then you could decide for yourself whether you believe it or not. But
or research it.
Yeah. So I know you want that.
Yeah, and I just tend to find that whether it's ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, and
CNN.
CNN, MSNBC, it seems that when they talk about a certain topic and they say certain words, if you turn that channel to a different news, almost the same exact time, they're talking about word for word the same exact thing.
Yeah, and it's quick. It's like they all got the memo and they're reading the same piece of paper.
Yeah, it's almost like headlines. When you see a big headline and then you read 4 paragraphs down the little print, what they really mean by that. But they're hoping that you actually read the headlines and make your decision from the headlines, not what it says down below.
And I think that they do that on purpose because they know most people don't have the time to read the whole thing. They'll just look at the headline and they'll go, oh, I guess that's fact.
Or the corrections that they put in the newspaper.
Yeah, when they
our father used to.
Yeah,
he used to read the corrections.
Yeah, oh my God, he read the Sunday paper was huge, and he would spend the entire day Sunday.
That would be Tuesday, and he's still reading.
Yeah, he's reading every single word of every single page. The man knew all kinds of stuff. Never graduated high school, but the man was brilliant.
Yeah, just a quick tidbit of information. When Trivial Pursuit first came out, we were all in the dining room. My dad was in the he was in the living room reading the newspaper. So the question came up, what is Fidel Castro's brother's name? So there was a whole bunch of us playing, and we're all laughing, like, who's going to know that? And from out of the blue, we hear Raul. And we all look.
From the other room.
From the other room at my father. And we go, what? He turns the paper down. He goes, Raul, that's his name. And we look at the card, and sure enough, it was Raul. We're like, how do you know that? He goes, I read it somewhere.
Yeah, the man. I've told people that he was the smartest man I've ever known because he knew everything, but he read everything. I mean, you talk about readers, the newspaper, Reader's Digest, and he read everything.
He used to even get Leatherneck magazine because he was a former Marine. Never an ex-Marine.
Right? Yes,
it's former.
Yeah. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yep.
Yeah, but right.
And it's funny. None of us went in the military. His children.
Well, I couldn't.
Grandchildren, yeah. And
I had a heart murmur, so they're like, we can't take you.
And I was going the Army. He was a little disappointed I didn't go Marines, but I couldn't go either because I was allergic to shelled seafood, which they wouldn't take you at that time. Now they can.
Yeah.
So things change.
Amazing. But back
to the original topic,
which was we're talking about the news.
Yeah.
And how the misinformation or disinformation is out there, but there are, and more you're finding podcasts. And just to name a few, you have like Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Joe Rogan,
Dan Bongino.
You used to have Rush Limbaugh on the radio. They would give you, and again, my opinion, they would give you both sides. They would give you more accurate stuff, and they would always back it up with facts. Now, there's so much conspiracy theory stuff out there. But it's funny that if you just wait long enough, you realize that a lot of that conspiracy theory stuff actually was true. So, I think the
Dan Bongino calls it the 72-hour rule.
yes, he has a 72-hour rule.
Wait 72 hours and the truth comes out.
Yeah. But you can do your own research. And that's one of the things that we talked about, and we'll probably reference over and over again, is if you hear something, don't just assume that that's it. And I don't care whether it's conservative, liberal, left, right,
Center.
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Good game, left, right, center.
We play all the time.
Yeah. But just don't accept, I guess that's the truth.
Because we don't.
I was just watching a video this morning where they were in New York City, and they were stopping people and saying, "What do you think about Bernie Sanders tax plan?" And they were like, "Oh my God, we love this tax plan, and we hate Trump, but we love this tax plan." And then at the end of it, the guy's like, "It's actually Trump's plan," and they're like, "Oh, really?" And you see people go do it all the time. Those videos are all over the place. And once people hear where it's just the tax plan or just the immigration plan or whatever plan it is, when they just hear the plan, most people like it. But when you say, well, this is Trump's or this was Obama's or this is Bush's or whoever, all of a sudden their opinion is like, well, I don't like that. Without even thinking, or without even listening to it.
Was that the 15-15-15?
No, this was something totally different,
Okay.
but they were just, the guy didn't go into the entire plan. He just highlights.
If anybody knows what I'm talking about, the 15-15-15, Trump's talking about doing a 15% corporate tax, 15% income tax, and a 15% federal sales tax?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, get rid of everything else.
Just 15 for everybody.
Yeah. Almost like a flat tax right across the board.
Yeah. Which, sounds a lot easier, and you wouldn't need the IRS. A lot of that stuff. So anyways, so if you hear something, don't just assume because it comes from one person that must be right or that must be wrong. Check it out yourself.
And we were talking about why this came up, that disinformation and misinformation is the so-called global warming change to climate change.
Yeah, right. When they found out the Earth was cooling, all of a sudden they just
narrative changed.
They renamed it.
They renamed it to fit what they wanted it to fit. My big thing was, I have a high school diploma. I went technical school, which was kind of equivalent to 1 year of college because of the amount of hours that I put in the technical school. So I always thought I really wasn't that intelligent till I got older, and then I started figuring things out, and I just feel I'm pretty smart. But the big thing for me was, if they're talking about climate change and the oceans are rising, why are all these banks investing in storefront property? Oceanfront properties, resorts. Even Obama bought a $14 million mansion on Martha Vineyard on the shore.
On the shore.
So if water is rising, why are you going to build something right on the shore when it could be flooded eventually?
Right, because the seas are rising.
The seas are rising.
But
in that case, the rock. What is the rock?
Plymouth Rock.
Plymouth Rock. It in the same spot it's been forever, and it's still not covered with water.
Yeah,
it's the same spot. You could still go up and stand on it.
Yep. And not drown.
And not drown. So that's a long time ago. Plymouth Rock, the landing.
That rock's been there for a while.
Yeah, and it's still not underwater.
Oh, and now when we were kids, you pretty much had 4 seasons. Especially in the New England area. So you had a summer, you had a fall, you had a winter, you had a spring, and you could almost guarantee when it was going to happen because it kind of flowed. Now it's all crazy.
It's all crazy.
You were saying earlier today, Florida's getting snow.
Snow in the Panhandle.
Yes, yeah. Mississippi and Alabama getting snow, and in New England sometimes we're like, well, we used to get that stuff.
We're not doubting that there isn't change in the climate,
but who says it's just not natural?
Right.
It could just be.
It could just be happening that way.
Yeah. And one of the things that you've always pointed out over the years were the contrails, which, again, misinformation.
Chemtrails, as we people know them as chemtrails.
Yeah. And
the difference.
But the news would say, "Oh, we're not doing that." But then there's video and there's evidence, pictures of airplanes with these big barrels in them flying over and releasing stuff and they're trying to control the rays of the sun.
Absolutely, that's what they're doing.
Right. So
a contrail basically is there's moisture in the air. The plane goes by, crystallizes the moisture, and then it starts to dissipate again. So that's why you'll see a jet high in the air, and you'll notice a trail looks like smoke behind it. And then as the plane or jet is going farther away, it's dissipating. But chemtrails are from horizon to horizon. They're not way up in the sky. They're lower, and they spread out. And it looks like cloud cover on a supposedly sunny day.
And you see them forever.
So they're trying to cool the earth, my opinion. I mean, just do the research yourself. The videos are there.
Yeah, and they're trying to have the sun rays bounce back up so that it doesn't, warm the earth. But why aren't they just not telling you? Like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is why we think some stuff is happening. Just say it. So I think most people will be like, oh, okay, and get up the next day and go to work. I don't know what they're afraid of.
I don't know. I mean, I saw John Brennan. He's a former director of the CIA, who I don't like, but I did see him on a video saying there is chemtrails. This is what they're doing. And it's a multi-billion-dollar project a year. And it's all over the world. It's just not happening over the United States. As a matter of fact, I have the video on my phone. Maybe I'll post it someday.
Yeah.
And show you what he says. So here's the director, former director of the CIA, saying that this is what they're doing, but then in the news they say that's not what's happening.
Yeah,
so that's disinformation.
Yeah.
They know the truth and they're twisting it for a narrative.
Right, yeah, they're just not making a mistake. They're actually trying to hide something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting, like, why do they think that they are, in a sense, like playing God, that they're going to control the weather? Like, why do they think they're that powerful that they can control the weather? Let the weather be. Mm-hmm. It's like the Earth has been here forever.
I remember,
a long time.
I remember when the space shuttle was first going up. It would launch out of Florida.
Yep.
And like 2 days later, we'd have a huge thunderstorm, a storm in Connecticut. Got rain.
It was the weirdest. You could set your watch to it.
Yeah, you could say, okay, 2 days later, we're going to get rain.
We're going to get rain, and we would.
Were they doing something to the atmosphere, ionosphere, whatever you want to call it?
I don't know, but
and I still don't think they go into space. By the way.
Well, you might as well tell them why. I mean, you have your opinion as the what.
Well, I think there's inner space and outer space, and I don't think we actually go into outer space. I mean, even the Hubble Space Telescope is in inner space, and I don't know if we want to get into that topic.
I think it's
because it's a long subject.
No, but I think it's fascinating that when you you could say I don't think we've been there, and somebody could say, well, yeah, we've been there. So we were on the moon. Well, we weren't. Whatever. Mm-hmm. But when I think there was a guy who said something about He made some sort of statement like, well, yeah, when we're able to get into a certain level, and when it's like, wait.
Yeah, this was a NASA video of a NASA scientist saying that we don't have a capsule thick enough to protect the astronauts from the radiation in the Van Allen radiation belt to get through to keep these astronauts safe from getting high levels or high doses of radiation that they could possibly get cancer. But yet we've been to the moon, I don't know how many times, and we have to go through the Van Allen radiation belt to get there.
Right.
So here's a NASA scientist, and I have that video, saying we don't have a capsule safe enough. But yet supposedly we're there.
Yeah. So when you hear that, at least be able to say, like, geez, I wonder. Like,
is that disinformation?
I don't know. Is it? Yeah. Is it misinformation, disinformation? Is it correct?
Yeah. And the budget for NASA where's that money going? If we're really not going to the moon, or we didn't go to the moon, or we were, I don't know.
Right? I don't know either.
It's just like I said, my opinion.
Yeah. But it's interesting to hear other people make statements. Like there was a statement made, I think it was Friday. There's a new committee in government that's going to study the assassinations of JFK, RFK, MLK, and the person who's heading that committee, Anna Paulina Luna from Florida, said from what she's seen, from documents that she's been able to look at and things that have been released, she made the statement. She goes, "Well, there were two shooters," and I think people took aback for a second. And went, wait, you just said there were two shooters? Mm-hmm. Now I know Roger Stone wrote a book about the Kennedy assassination, and he names the shooter who made the kill shot.
I heard there was three teams,
right,
three teams of two.
Yep. But he says Johnny Roselli, who was a mobster. Don't come after me, but
we are Italian, by the way, and Sicilian.
And Sicilian. but like, I mean, he names the guy who made the kill shot. So there's information out there, and I heard the same thing in terms of well, do you want to really release this information? Can the American public deal with it? Well, yeah, absolutely. If they said, hey, you know what? There were two shooters. There were three teams of two shooters. CIA was involved. Mafia was involved,
and even Castro,
like whoever. I mean, I don't know. I think most people would go, hey, yeah, I thought that, and then they'd get up and go to work or have dinner.
Yeah, there's not going to be a meltdown in the United States.
No, I think the public can handle the correct information, which goes back to what we were saying about misinformation, disinformation. Just give us the information. Just tell us the truth. And governments don't tend to do that.
And we'll deal with it our own way.
Yeah. I mean,
what's going to happen? You're just going to sit in your room and cry about it? You got to get up and go to work the next day. But then we also will know, like, I believe the CIA was involved in the Kennedy killing Martin Luther King, killing RFK, and also Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a threat, a very intelligent man. If you read his book, read about him.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I'm just amazed at what the government believes we can't handle.
Or wants us to believe.
Yeah, we can.
Because they're still on the single shooter for Kennedy.
Yeah.
And, there's massive evidence that he was in the hallway. Someone ran into the hallway when the shot was actually being taken. He could have been a CIA operative.
Well, not only that, but it's the, you in general, whether it's a fictional book or in reality, you hire someone to do a killing and then you kill the killer. So Jack Ruby took care of that.
And then they got rid of him in jail too.
Yeah. So, people cover their tracks. But I don't want misinformation. I don't want disinformation. I just want the information. Yeah. I mean, I was alive. I was 6 when Kennedy was shot. I remember sitting in front of the TV at 6 years old watching the horse-drawn hearse, carrying the casket. I remember because it was on live TV when Jack Ruby shot Oswald. I mean, it was on live TV. I remember that.
Yeah, and it was our 6. Trusted newscaster.
It was, Walter
Cronkite.
Who was, he was the most trusted, and you
at that time, yeah.
Come to find out that
he wasn't really that trusted.
No, he wasn't.
He was given a lot of disinformation.
Yeah, but everyone believed it because you had 3 major channels, ABC, NBC, CBS. Like, that was your news, and it wasn't on 24/7. It would come on at 6 o'clock at night or whatever, and you had, there was Walter Cronkite, and that was, you had maybe a morning thing, but you had your evening news.
That's what everybody watched.
Huntley, Brinkley, these guys, they were the people.
And the TV went off at 10 or 11, or midnight.
Might have been midnight. I remember midnight, but you'd have a test pattern.
And no, didn't they play?
They played Star Spangled Banner.
Star Spangled Banner with the flag.
And you got a test pattern until like 5 or 6 in the morning, and then TV came back on. It was amazing.
The TV went off,
and we had 4 channels. we had ABC, NBC, CBS.
Till we moved.
And we had one UHF channel, Channel 30, which was...
Well, till we moved in the other town, and then we were high on a hill, so we got all the New York stations.
Yeah, we did.
5, 9, 11 out of New York.
Yeah, and then we put up that antenna.
Yeah, big antenna, yeah. We were high tech, boy. We had an antenna that actually moved.
Our dad was on the roof. We're like, turn it, wait. No, turn it back.
No, we had the controller.
Until we got that.
Oh, I don't remember that. I don't remember. That was too young. Too young.
But anyways.
Well, Dad always used to say that they'll actually release the information on who killed Kennedy when everybody that was born is dead.
Yeah.
Because then they'll go, who's that guy?
Well, yeah, in some sense.
Even people used to ask, hey, Barry, how old are you? Because I look younger than my my age.
Yeah, you look good for 80.
Yeah, not too bad. I do use a cane occasionally. I would say, well, I'll give you a hint. Kennedy was president when I was born. And they go, who?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I get that with Eisenhower, because Eisenhower was president when I was
JFK?
born.
Okay. You're that old? And I was like, yeah.
It's not that long ago.
He was killed. I was like 4 months old, 3 months old.
Yeah.
So I was alive when Kennedy was assassinated.
Yeah, you were like 3 months old.
Yeah. I was born in August. They shot him on November 22nd, 1963. So how do I remember that? For how long did our grandparents, my mom's mom and dad, how long did they have Kennedy's picture in their kitchen?
Well, they had
years after he was
But they
dead.
had a bust. They had a figure, like it was his head. They had that on a table or whatever.
Yeah.
I
and the
remember
picture,
that.
Kennedy on the wall for years.
I mean, he was beloved. But I'm currently reading a book right now about an assassination attempt on Kennedy before the inauguration. There was a postal worker, I believe his name was Pavlich, from New Hampshire, who loaded up a car with TNT and was going to take out Kennedy before he was inaugurated. So I'm in the middle of the book. Not
the AC/DC song TNT.
No. but I never even heard of that.
I never heard.
I hadn't heard that it was an assassination attempt prior to.
Well, we don't tend to hear these things. They don't tell you these assassination attempts or the evidence that they stopped. I'd like to know how many were on a lot of the presidents that we have no idea.
Oh yeah,
they keep it from you.
The former press secretary of George Bush said that there was an assassination attempt on him. Someone threw a hand grenade at him, but
it never went off.
It never went off.
That's right. They rolled it in the room, and it never went off.
It never went off.
So, I did hear about that.
Yeah, but that wasn't big news.
Besides shoes being
I was going to say, we heard more about the shoe being thrown at him. You got to give him credit. He had pretty good reflexes.
Didn't like him too much, but that's
we heard about the shoe, but we didn't hear about the hand grenade.
And he was a Republican. See, we didn't. I didn't like Bush at all. So,
no.
So we're not partisan to.
We hate everybody.
we hate a lot of people. So I don't want people to get the notion that we are just Republican.
No.
I vote whoever. I vote for Clinton the first time.
I've split my vote in the past.
I have.
In the past.
I won't anymore.
Me neither.
But I have in the past, the down vote. A lot of people go in on a presidential election and put whoever they like and walk out.
Yeah.
Well, the down ballot, people don't realize how important that is. Because 2 years in is the midterms.
Yep.
So you could have a president that's doing the right because he has the House and the Senate. And then the midterms come along,
and he loses
one of them or both of them, and then done. He's done.
Yep.
He can't do what he needs to do.
Right, because they're not going to let him.
I just want someone that's going to do right for the country and the people.
Yep.
I don't care who they are. You do the right thing, you got my vote. You do the wrong thing, you don't have it.
And again, staying with the topic of the disinformation stuff. And people are all over the place with this Doge, with trying to save money, but there's a lot of waste, and I think everybody would, if you're honest, everyone's going to look at the government and how big it is and go, there's got to be waste. They got to be blowing money somewhere.
Yeah, you hear stories of a $400 hammer they paid for.
Yeah,
well, those are true.
Well, or even comic books in Guatemala for trans stuff. It's like, I don't think you guys want to go to work, pay taxes, so that you can find out that the government is creating a comic book in some foreign country trying to influence,
Like, who cares?
yeah.
That's our money.
It's our
money.
right, it's
not
our
the
money.
government's. Ours. We worked for it.
Yeah, and the reason we're at $36 trillion in debt is because no one has said enough is enough.
Why are you mad at Doge and Elon Musk? Why aren't you mad at the politicians that are giving this money? 50 million, I heard, to one, I forget what the study was for, to sway votes in Sri Lanka or something.
Yeah.
Who cares? That's our money. It should be for our people. Why do you have veterans that fought in different wars living in the street?
Right.
They should have priority. So be mad at the right people, not at the wrong people. And people say, well, he wasn't elected. Of course, Elon Musk wasn't elected.
Nobody was, other than the president.
Other than the president and the vice president,
Right.
period. No one else was elected.
All the cabinet members weren't.
They're appointed.
They're appointed.
And Congress okays them.
Yep.
In some points, like Elon Musk wasn't appointed. He was appointed by an executive order.
Right.
Which all presidents do.
All presidents do
regardless.
and have, because the USAID, that organization that they're looking at, was created by an executive order by JFK.
By JFK, that's how far back AID goes.
Right. And back then, it probably was a good cause. And now it's just gotten out of control.
Yeah, and here's I got reports reveal Trump prosecutors were paid by 27 million in USAID funding. So the funding to go after Trump was paid by
Our taxes.
And
right.
a transgender orchestra in Colombia.
Yeah. A play.
I mean, I'm not against trans people.
No,
I don't
that's
care.
nothing to
If
do.
you want to do that and live your life that way,
Go ahead.
I have no problem with that.
I think that's the more libertarian part of us. It's like, you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
It's like,
We're not hardcore right-wingers like people think we are.
No.
Or some of our family members.
some of our family members think we are.
We're not.
Because we'll talk about both sides, and we'll talk about, the good and the bad, where they just tend to talk about bad.
Yeah, I don't like that guy because of this. Okay,
Yeah.
What is your reasoning behind that?
Well,
I just don't like
I just don't like them. Right?
Well, there's a lot of things I just don't like, but like I don't like shelled seafood because I'm allergic to it. I know I might die if I eat it. There's a reason not to like it. But I think if someone's going into politics and they're for our country, that's the guy to go. Or lady.
Yep.
I think there should be a female president.
Yep.
Absolutely coming soon.
And I think it's coming soon. But again, it has to be the right person, and they need to watch out for us. And we're middle class. I guess you'd consider middle class.
I'm
in that
on
range,
the lower scale.
Yeah, in that range of in the lower middle class, but we're the middle class. I mean, I'm on Social Security. You hear, there's not enough money. It's going to run out of money. If you're going to blow tens of millions of dollars because you want to send condoms to Sri Lanka or somewhere, in Africa or whatever, and you're telling me that there's not going to be money that I paid because I worked all those years. Yeah. You're telling me there's not going to be Medicare, Social Security. I got a problem with that.
Me too.
Because you're blowing my money.
I got a problem. I think there should be line item vetoes in a bill. Because what they'll do is they'll put in all the good stuff. Then in the bottom of the bill, they'll put in, like the study of shrimp on a treadmill. Yeah. And that's a real thing, by the way. That's not a joke. Look it up. They spent money to see how they react. Yeah. I mean, really? Do I really care? I don't go on a treadmill myself, and I need to. But this is what I'm saying. The waste, the fraud, it should be able to be looked at and go, yeah, we ain't paying for that. We're not doing that. Cross that out. And then the bill would be a good bill.
Yeah. But they won't let
that happen.
No, because they get kickbacks.
Yeah.
It's all about power, money, control.
If I was a senator and I had some type of let's say a weapons plant in my district, and that weapon development that they're trying to do is not good. It's not doing what it's supposed to do, and we're going to lose funding. Well, I'm going to try to fight for that to be done, and that's the thing. They're fighting for a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be in these bills. Yeah. It needs to just go, and they don't want to do that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, I do. It made me think of the there was like, I don't know how many billions of dollars that was put into these charging stations that they were going to build the electric, for your electric vehicles across the country, and they allocated, I forgot how many billions of dollars.
Yeah, there was 7 of them.
Yeah, I think it's 7 or 8.
7 or 8 of them built. That's it.
That was it.
Where'd the rest of the money go?
Yeah.
I want to know.
I want it back.
I want to know where it went.
Right, and if it didn't go, then I want it back.
Yeah, put it into Social Security.
Yeah. So.
And actually, I actually have something in my phone. I won't be able to find it right now, but it talks about Social Security. And it talks about who was the party that is passed bills to use that money for other needs. It was all Democrats.
Yep.
Whether it was Republican, I would be upset about it.
Absolutely.
But it just happens to be all Democrats. And then they're out there saying, well, there's not going to be enough money. Well, there's not, because
you blew it.
You're putting it into a general fund, and the general's stealing a lot of money. Yeah. So you go to Congress, and you're a congressman, and you make $175,000 a year. You've been in Congress 3 years. Do the math, but you're worth $10 million. How'd that happen? Well, because I want that job.
I just saw a chart the other day. Nancy Pelosi makes roughly $230,000 a year. Mm-hmm. She's worth $202 million.
That's a pretty good addition.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good return on your money that we don't get.
No.
Even people like Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, they're worth 70 million, 50 million. How are these people worth this kind of money? And then waste our money.
Mm-hmm. Because lobbyists, they come in and they lobby, and they say, we'll give you this much money if you vote this way on this bill.
Yeah.
It's for your campaign. But funny how you drive a Audi R8. Look what that cost. And Bernie has one of those.
Yeah.
And the guy's never had a real job in his life.
No, it's like 3 houses he has around.
Yeah, worth millions of dollars. And he wants to take your money and give it to other people.
Or he wants to take all your money and then give you free health care. But he's going to take all your money.
We could go down that road too.
Yeah.
About health care. Maybe we'll do a thing on health care.
Yeah. Especially with the new head of it going in, RFK Jr. and the stuff that he hopefully will do to get our food healthier. Yeah.
Why is Gatorade made different here than it's made in Europe?
There's different.
Or cereals.
Yep.
I saw a thing where a guy took, I think it was Fruity Pebbles.
Oh yeah.
In a cup, and he put a match to it. It lit on fire. It stayed on fire. So I mean, how does that happen? What's in it that keeps that burning? And we're putting that in our children.
Right, and advertising it and saying, with the beautiful colors, oh my God.
Yeah, so there you go again. There's your misinformation and disinformation. Yeah. This is good for you when it's really not. They're not telling you what's in it.
You know what's funny? Maybe just as you're saying that, I'm like, whatever happened to puff rice? When we were kids, puff rice, it was like rice that was puffed. I don't think there was anything
still
else
on the
in
shelf. I don't know.
I don't know.
I never ate it. I hated it.
but it wasn't colorful. It wasn't sugary. It was
Magic Spoon. You want to feed good cereal to your kids? Look up Magic Spoon.
Yep.
It's great, and they're not giving us nothing.
No.
No one.
Not yet.
No one gives it. They might hear it, and say, "Hey, these guys are pushing our product."
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be a lot of protein and really good for your kids.
Yep. Supposed to.
I mean, there's Doritos. You want to talk about Doritos?
Oh no.
There's I eat it once in a while myself.
They're good.
There's something in it that has coal dust.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
I guess a certain percentage of coal dust isn't too bad for you.
Well, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They, whether it's mercury or whatever, you can have X amount in your diet and it's not going to kill you. Well, who says?
Yeah, everybody's different.
Yeah.
Your chemical makeup of your body between him, me, and anybody else, it's all different. How things affect you.
Yeah.
So there you go again, your misinformation, disinformation.
Yep.
Who's giving you the right, who said it wrong accidentally, and who's saying it wrong on purpose.
Yeah. So.
Well, we're about 35 minutes into this video. We said we try to keep them short, but we got off on a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah, but that's us. I mean, we'll get going, and it'll just keep. You're lucky we didn't get into comment. comedy.
We might do that.
Because we'll end up crying.
We might do that.
Yeah,
you
you
guys
never
can
know.
laugh along with us. I'm sure you guys laughed a little bit with some of the things that we said, but we try to keep it real in this and who we are.
Yeah.
Whether, you might not like some of the things we just said.
Yeah, and too bad if you don't.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but we appreciate you just even watching this.
Yeah, it's
and just remember, it is our opinions.
Yeah, and it's
we won't disrespect yours.
It's a nice little endeavor that we're trying out to see.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, anyways, we'd like to close.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you before we do close is you can tell we're Italian. We're talking with our hands.
I'm holding mine so we don't.
Yeah. Hit the notification bell, like and subscribe, and you'll get some pretty good content out of this. Hopefully you'll understand.
Yeah, and like I say, remember that you have a voice and don't let anyone silence it.
Alrighty, we'll see you on the next video. Thank you, everybody.
Yep.